By sunrise, 4 people had confessed to killing the same man. Each confession sounded true. The problem was that none of them had killed him. It began in Kashgar, on a night of music, lamplight, and one badly placed fishbone. A tailor was closing his shop when a small hunchback performer appeared at the door, singing and beating a tambourine. Amused, the tailor invited him home for supper. His wife set a roasted fish before them, and for a while the room was full of laughter. Then the guest choked. A bone had lodged deep in his throat. The tailor and his wife tried desperately to help, but the little man went still. Their grief turned quickly to terror. He was one of the Sultan's jesters. If the watch found his body in their house, who would believe that his death had been an accident? The couple chose cowardice over confession. They carried the body through the dark lanes to the home of a physician and told his servant that they had brought a sick man who needed immediate care. While she climbed the stairs to fetch her master, they propped their guest at the top step, left a fee, and fled. The physician heard that a paying patient was waiting and hurried down without a lamp. His foot struck the body. The hunchback tumbled from step to step and landed below with a terrible crash. When light finally reached the stairwell, the physician stared at the motionless man and reached the only conclusion fear would allow. He had killed his patient. The physician and his wife searched for a way to escape the gallows. Their neighbor was the Sultan's purveyor, keeper of the palace oil and butter. They hauled the body onto the roof, tied ropes beneath its arms, and lowered it down the purveyor's chimney until it stood upright against the wall. Then they pulled up the ropes and vanished. Near midnight, the purveyor entered with a lantern. In the wavering light, he saw a figure beside his storeroom and assumed he had caught the thief who had been stealing his supplies. He seized a club and struck. The figure fell without a sound. Only then did the purveyor kneel, touch the body, and whisper that he had murdered a man. Now the purveyor needed someone else to carry his guilt. He dragged the body outside and leaned it against the shop wall. Before dawn, a Christian merchant came down the alley after a night of drinking. He collided with the hunchback and, believing a robber had grabbed him, knocked the body to the ground. A patrolman arrived to find the merchant standing over a dead servant of the Sultan. The merchant protested that the man had attacked him. No one listened. By morning, a gallows had been raised, and the rope was already around his neck. The executioner was about to pull the rope when the palace purveyor forced his way through the crowd. "Stop," he cried. "The merchant is innocent. I killed the man." He described the thief in his storeroom, the blows from his club, and the body he had abandoned in the alley. The merchant was released. The rope was placed around the purveyor instead. But before the executioner could act, another voice called for him to wait. The physician confessed that the man had already been dead when the purveyor struck him. He told the crowd about the dark staircase and the patient he had kicked to the floor. The rope moved from the purveyor to the physician. Then the tailor pushed forward. Neither man was guilty, he said. The guest had choked at his supper table, and he and his wife had carried the body to the physician's door. By now, the crowd had heard 4 believable accounts of the same death. The merchant had struck the man in the alley. The purveyor had beaten him in the storeroom. The physician had kicked him down the stairs. The tailor had watched him choke on a bone. 4 people had confessed, and each was certain the hunchback was already dead when the next person found him. The case was too strange for the executioner, so the accused and the body were taken before the Sultan of Kashgar. The Sultan listened as guilt passed backward from one terrified person to another. At last, an elderly barber in the court asked permission to examine the dead man. He knelt, placed the hunchback's head across his knees, and studied his face. Then, to everyone's outrage, the barber began to laugh. "You have prepared 4 executions," he said, "for a man who is no more dead than I am." The barber rubbed warm balsam along the hunchback's neck. Then he opened the man's mouth, reached in with a pair of pincers, and drew out a long fish bone. For one silent moment, nothing happened. Then the corpse sneezed. His hands moved. His eyes opened. The 4 confessed killers stared as the dead man sat up, confused by the palace, the crowd, and the rope waiting outside. The Sultan pardoned the tailor, the physician, the purveyor, and the merchant. He rewarded the barber and ordered the impossible case written into the royal archives. 4 honest confessions to a murder that had never taken place. The little hunchback survives because every frightened person mistakes certainty for truth, and every lie makes the next mistake more convincing. After nightfall, even an innocent accident can cast 4 guilty shadows. Subscribe to Nightfall Tales for another old story told by lamplight.